So welcome back to our part 3 of HTML coding, and we're really getting into nitty and gritty here. A bit more is going on with the HTML code now. We're going to add some forms and explain a few things, get ready for CSS, and then that'll be our next couple of videos after a few more HTML videos. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe to this video. There will be useful links down below for you guys to check out after the video if you've not done so already. I want to apologise if there is a whirring noise going on in the background. I've got a backup server going overtime at the moment, so hopefully you guys still get crystal clear sound from myself. So apologies for the whirring. But let's get on. I'm going to do what I did before, is copy and paste the code and explain it, but I want you guys to, of course, type this out. So this is where we got left off last time. I will put this HTML code down below over at our forum, so if you guys want to check that out and download it, you can. So we are going to have a quick look at the URI, which is like a unordered list. So we go ahead and save this now and scroll to the bottom. We can see we've got a HTML list with coffee, sugar, milk and mug, and I just realised I didn't capitalise the sugar, or it may be spelled incorrectly, but that doesn't matter. So you start a HTML unordered list with a UL, and then LI like you did before, and closing tag. We do use this in CSS to manipulate stuff occasionally, and then you've also got a slightly different tag, but does much the same, but it's OL instead. So I'm going to go ahead and put these as number 2 so we can see the difference here. You shouldn't see much of a difference on the page, other than I think it causes not to have dots, am I correct? Or that it shows numbers. So that is how you do a numbered section in HTML, and dots with LI, and OLLI does a numbered list. So I go ahead and make another one here, and I'll do spoon. So you need a spoon to make coffee. And I will name it 2 just for convenience. So as you can see, it's automatically added number 5 for us. So that's probably the most basic HTML that you guys are going to need to get yourself going here. As you can see, we're really starting to get a nice website layout, or not nice website layout, but we're getting to be able to put all the things together to make a nice website. So I'm sure you guys can play around with that and start to get things moving yourself. So one other thing we're going to talk about now is the div. This is a very important element in HTML. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this code here and then explain what this does. So as you can see, we've got a div ID here, and we shouldn't have a gap at all here. I didn't realise I did that. So we're going to go and save. You will not see any changes at all to the page. If I go ahead and add some content in here with a PR, and then we'll closing tag, and as you'll see now, when I save it and refresh, we will see this is a div. So what a div in a nutshell is a way to have layouts on pages for things like menus, footers, content areas and stuff like that, and you can obviously change the name here. So this was a menu, you would put menu, like that. We use divs to destructure pages, and then you've got another section which is used more often, which is a class. It is written much the same way as a div, apart from we use div class equals. And if we go ahead and refresh this page, there we go. I want you guys to type this out and learn how to type this, because this will be things that you will need to type on a regular basis. So as you can see, we've got that here, and we of course have the H2 for coffee that we put there, so you guys can see how that sort of works. So I'll go ahead and remove that now and save it again and put a P there instead, so you guys can really start to see how this all works. So I got a new keyboard I'm not quite used to yet. So there you go, we've got it literally like that. So we use classes to manipulate more than one part of the page. It can be used to manipulate CSS and JavaScript. So we use classes for things that aren't normally layouts that we don't want to change. So if we don't want to change anything, we use a div. If we want to change stuff, we use a class. And that we'll obviously go over more this when we do the CSS training. So I think that would probably cover most of the basic form of a ID and a class. So I want you guys to practice changing things and changing the content in here, and then we will look at one more useful section, which is we do use occasionally in development, is a iframe. So we start it with iframe and then the src, and as you can see, we've put our forums there. Don't forget to check out that after the video, guys, where we have some more useful stuff, and you can ask us for more HTML help and so on there. So it's a definite place for you guys to check out, and this will also be where we link some of the code and stuff for you guys to download at a later date. So well worth going ahead and joining. So just go ahead and save this. As you can see, we've now got the currently closed board here. But when you guys go to have a look at it, I promise it will be available, so you always want to check that out. As you can see, it looks quite small because we've got the numbers here. So we make it 500 and 600 width. We should get it to look a bit better. And of course, if we set auto, we would get it to scroll across the full screen, which we don't want right now. But as you can see, it's starting to look a bit bigger. I'll just show you what happens when you do auto, but this is probably not what we want at all. It'll probably just completely take over the page or do nothing because it thinks it's that size. So obviously you guys have to set it to whatever you want. So maybe you want it at 1000 pixels and 500 5000 width. I don't know what happened there. Obviously you guys can go ahead and play around with this, but we don't often use iframes to show pages like this, but we often use them to put different pages in on load time, stuff like that. We don't use it very often, but I did think it was worth showing you guys that it does exist, as you will find at some point you may want to use an iframe. So I thought I'd go ahead and show that to you. And a useful code that you should add to all of your websites in the header is this meta. So meta name, viewpoint, content, width, and scale to 1.0. What this does is lets HTML try and make things a bit more mobile friendly. So if you preview this particular site on a mobile, it would look horrendous. But if you were to use it, put that in and do it, it should try and make that page look much more mobile friendly. And of course I won't see any big changes here at all because we've not really done anything to the desktop version of the site, but only to the mobile version. So this is a very important code that you should include in all of your sites, along with a document type, HTML, header and body. You should include that on all your sites. I thought I forgot to mention that one in a previous video. So now we're going to go ahead and do a bit of HTML forms. I think I probably will split this up into different HTML documents for you guys at the forums, just so you guys can play about with it a bit more. But I do want you guys to learn to code this normally. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we do a form. I'm going to go ahead and remove that for now, because I think it's getting in our way here. In fact, I am going to just have the content of the form on the page. So as you guys can see, you've got a form here. So I have added the code to have values, and you can remove these values like so. If I go ahead and save, as you guys can see, we can now type in to the box of HTML, and we've got a submit button, and we can change the value of submit to say go. So now we'll go ahead and it will say go, and we could also add values back again. Oh, what did we do wrong there? We completely put it in the wrong place. So even professional coders make problems. So as you can see, and then you can remove that text and type your own. I tend to not really use the values. I set them to be nothing, but I wanted you guys to see that that is possible. So with a form, it starts with form action, and this will be the page that the form goes to when submitted. Of course, this will go absolutely nowhere at the moment, as we've not got into learning PHP. So if I go hit the form now, it will just return an error saying, I can't find that file. So your form won't do anything until we get into PHP. But this is how it works. So label for last name, blah, blah, blah. So you guys can study that code and practice typing it out, but that is a HTML form at the basic level. We will of course be doing more advanced HTML forms as we go along. So I wanted to show you one more form. Let's go ahead. So this is a tick box form. So let's go ahead and remove the other form, and then we've got just this form. So we can tick box what we want, and then this would have values that we could send back to PHP or any other server-side language in here. So you can just do checkboxes, and then the answer would be vehicle 3, 2 and 1. I think that sort of wraps up the basics of this section of HTML, or shall I do a bonus video after this on I don't know. I think we will go over this as well actually. So as well as forms, we want to display special characters on a web page. So we want to display a euro sign. We can do that with like this sort of thing here. I will put links down below on the forum where you guys can see more of this. I'm not going to go over every single code that you can get, as we'll be here all day. So as you can see, we're displaying, they all display the same euro pound sign, but we've got like a copy sign. to just go ahead and add the copy sign here. So this will display a copyright symbol. This will display a front facing arrow, and this will show a hearts card. So I just wanted you guys to show that this is possible, and this is how you do things like that in HTML, as of course you can't draw images in HTML, so the browser represents them in different ways. There are loads and loads of these sort of elements, so I will post them in the forums below and tell you guys how you can find a few more. So I hope you found this video useful. We're probably going to do a few more advanced HTML tags, like displaying videos and media and so on, and how you can do a few more HTML fancy stuff that you don't need to use coding for, which is quite nice. In HTML5 we've got a few more advanced APIs that we didn't have a few years ago, so I'll show you them, and then we'll move on to HTML CSS. Hope you guys enjoying the videos so far. Until next time.